Hello and welcome to White Glove Reviews. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a cool Swiss Army knife. And this one is the Victorinox Fisherman. And I've been trying to figure out if the Fisherman is exactly discontinued or not. It's hard to say. It might be, but I found some on Amazon. So this is one of those things where your mileage may vary. But I'll include a link in the description if you want to check it out, and maybe the Amazon link will still be good. I'll also include a link to the Swiss Army Knife Wiki, where it talks about the Fisherman. I want to say it's sort of discontinued, but I haven't really had much difficulty finding them. So, yeah, that's hard to say. If you know for sure if it's discontinued or not, let me know in the comments. Alright. I ran across this Fisherman when I was sort of looking around on eBay. And this is another example of how you can find some pretty surprising deals on Swiss Army knives on eBay. And they're very much hit and miss though. Like a lot of times the deals are awful. But every now and then you come across a really good one. And this one, the Fisherman was like, I think it cost me $13 shipped. It wasn't expensive. And let me show you the knife, and you can maybe guess why it was cheap, as inexpensive as it was. So this is pretty much a perfectly new Swiss Army knife. The only difference is it has someone's initials on it. I'm not sure who JT is, but he or she, they, had their initials on the Swiss Army knife. And maybe it's a Swiss Army knife that never got given out, or maybe a store had it initialed, but nobody picked it up, that kind of thing. I mean, there's really no telling. But if you find something like this and you really like the knife, but the initials bug you, one easy solution is you just can rescale it. Oh, huh. I just noticed something. It's missing the toothpick. That's kind of interesting. Lucky for me, I have a pile of toothpicks laying around, so I can easily replace that. So, anyway, the point being, though, is if you find a really good deal on a Swiss Army knife that you like, you know, like $13, all you got to do, if you're so inclined, is you pop off the scales and replace them. And you can change the color, you can upgrade to the plus scales, where you can add a pin and a pin to it. So anyway, my point, I guess, is that there are deals out there. And I wanted to check this one out because it has something on it that I want. Like, okay, the knife that I normally carry is this one. I carry this one on my keys. This is a Cyber Tool Light, and this is the big Cyber Tool. The one thing, well, one of the things that I would like that this does not have is it doesn't have the ruler. And the ruler is also the fish scaler. It's this thing right here. And so as you can see, the Fisherman, one of the big selling points, I assume, is the fish scaler and the ruler. And the ruler, you have inches, you know, y'all can see that. Y'all have inches, and you have centimeters in the back. I know it's not really a requirement to have a ruler, but I kind of like it. So in addition to the ruler, the Fisherman has a pretty neat assortment of things. It has one thing that's a little, it's more common to have the corkscrew on your Victorinox knives than the Phillips head. But this one has the Phillips head screwdriver here, which it's kind of a neat tool to have. It's got the, I think technically this is called a multi-purpose hook, but I call it a carrying hook. And so you have the carrying hook, you have the awl, and this is the traditional awl with the little hole in it. On the flip side, you have the small knife blade, you have the large knife blade, scissors. Oops. Yeah, scissors. I gotta tell you, I think I prefer the Winger Wenger, Wenger. The other guys that got bought out by Victorinox, I think I prefer their scissors to these. I think I like the little metal piece versus the little springy thing here. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. You got the scissors, and then you have the traditional can opener, little screwdriver, that kind of thing. And you have the bottle opener, which everyone needs at least 8 bottle openers on everything they carry with them. Also a screwdriver. I gotta tell you, I know that if you've watched multiple of my videos, there's a statistically high chance that you've seen me complain about a bottle opener being on something. But I can't really complain about a bottle opener on a Swiss Army knife because it makes sense. It's the Swiss Army knife is a multi-tool. Like, I can even forgive like a Leatherman if you have a multi-tool that's actually a multi-tool. Then I think it's reasonably justified to have a bottle opener, as long as it doesn't detract from the function of the item. But this whole thing where you have a keychain tool that's a pry bar and they cut a little notch in it so it also has a bottle opener, you know, it's like a one function thing that now has 2 functions because one of them is a bottle opener. I just wish they'd stop. Anyway, I may complain about bottle openers. Anyway, so the Fisherman's kind of a neat little knife. It's not bad. I like it. It's got a number of good features to it, and it's a 91 millimeter, so it's the same size as it's a standard size, and you get a little fish here, which I guess is something. Anyway, let me know what you think. Also, I'm curious. Let me know what you think about getting your initials on your everyday carry stuff. I'm not really a fan of it. And I know this might sound weird, but one of the reasons I'm not really a fan of it for the most part is oftentimes when I change one or when I upgrade, or like for example, when I went from what was it? Like a Cyber Tool 41, there were when the biggest Cyber Tool before this one was the one without the light and the magnifying glass, and I had that one. And when they came out with the one with the light and the magnifying glass, you know, I'm kind of a Swiss Army knife fanboy, so I was like, I have to have the one with the magnifying glass and the flashlight because it's just unacceptable not to have that. And I ended up giving away my other one to someone else, to a friend of mine. And so it kind of makes them sort of single use, I guess. You know, I prefer it without the initials, just because if I decide to give it to someone, then it doesn't have any kind of weird initial thing going on. And I mean, I've given away a bunch of Swiss Army knives, so it just, I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you think the initial thing is neat or awful? For me, I don't really. I'm like, in this particular knife's case, it doesn't really matter, because even replacing the scales with plus scales, it's like, it works out that the knife would probably cost about $28 for a brand new Fisherman, which is still cheaper than retail. So, and you could also customize the color, and you get the plus version, which I don't think exists unless you do the scales yourself. I'm not sure. Anyway, you can look it up. So, let me know what you think. Are there any other cool Swiss Army knives I should hunt up? Are there any places you know of that are great to pick them up? Let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have an excellent day.